You are Locked On Yankees POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports New York on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
All right, with the exception of Juan Soto, the Yankees' bats have been relatively quiet of late. Despite that, the Bombers emerged victorious tonight in extra innings. They beat the Royals 4-3 in 11 in front of the home folks. Couple that with the Red Sox win over the Orioles, and the Yanks back up to a 2-game lead in the loss column over Baltimore in the American League East. Hello, everyone. I'm Jay Berman. If you're a New Yorker, you might recognize my work. If not, glad we get the chance to know each other. I've spent more than 2 decades in the biz, everything from TV to web to radio. You can follow me on X at Jay Berman. That's JayBerman. All right, welcome to the Locked On Yankees POSTCAST, both on the Locked On Sports New York YouTube channel and the Locked On Yankees podcast feed. The POSTCAST gives you a place to hang out every single Yankees game. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We'll chat extra innings prowess for the Bombers. Jazz Chisholm becomes the hero of the night, drives home the winning run in the 11th. Yanks are now up to 5-8 in extras. And lucky for New York, the Red Sox, as we said, beat the Orioles at Fenway in extras. That means the Yanks move to a game and a half in front of Baltimore in the American League East. That is 2 games in the loss column, probably more important. We'll also discuss what made the Yankee Stadium crowd so upset throughout the night, despite the win. And we'll get you set for the big series with Boston beginning Thursday night at Yankee Stadium. All that coming up on the POSTCAST. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB. That's LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. All right, we'll dive right in. As we said, the Yankees win in 11, 4-3, the final score. Not much offense with the exception of Juan Soto. At it again. After fouling a ball off his foot, he goes yard in the same at bat. It was a majestic shot, well over 400 feet. That gave the Yankees a 2-1 lead in the 6th and the 7th. Kansas City got that run back. We'll travel all the way to the 10th. Royals score 1 in the top of the 10th. Yanks tie it. On the Volpe play in the bottom of the 10th, bottom of the 11th, Jazz gets the job done on a ground ball. Bobby Whitman, a heck of a play to scoop the ball and prohibit it from going into left field. But obviously it was a very difficult play to come home. So the win goes to the Yankees. John Birdie, by the way, comes off the bench and scores the winning run. How about that? The Yanks did not have a hit with runners in scoring position tonight, and they left some runners on base as well. Two RBIs for Juan Soto, thanks to the home run, and then the RBI from Jazz Chisholm to drive home the game-winning run. Yanks entered tonight a half game up on the Orioles in the division. Magic number to clinch was 8 entering play tonight. We'll notch off a number there and make it 7. As we said, Yanks now 5-8 in extra inning games. All right, it was quite a pitcher's duel tonight between Cole Ragans, who's excellent, and obviously Luis Gil, who's been pretty good of late as well. Gil, 5 innings, 1 earned, 2 walks, struck out 5, did allow a solo home run, and that was the only run that he allowed. As for Cole Ragans, 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned, 3 walks, 7 Ks. He, too, allowed a home run. Of course, that was to Juan Soto. The home run for Kansas City, Michael Massey, that came in the 4th inning. By the way, Soto's home run, 402 feet. Now, the Yankee bullpen was pretty good with the exception of one man, and that's Clay Holmes. And we got to talk about Clay. Fresh off his demotion, he enters in the 7th inning, and Salvador Perez greets him with a sac fly to drive in a run and tied the game at 2. That's when the boos started, and we'll get to that in a second. Don't worry. But, again, Clay Holmes, thanks to coughing up the lead in the 7th inning or later, the 2-1 game becomes 2-2, and officially a blown save for Clay Holmes. He's not even in the closer's role, and he's still blowing games. Make that 12 to lead all major league relievers. Again, 12 blown saves for Clay Holmes. I'm not so sure what to do with Clay Holmes. He's obviously not fit for the 9th inning. Tonight might make you suggest he's not fit for the 7th inning either. We'll discuss that coming up as well. As we said, the Yanks entered tonight a half game up on the Orioles in the division. We do have some troubles on the offensive side. We'll get to Aaron Judge. Soto's been pretty good, but Giancarlo Stanton, who figures to be the regular DH moving through the regular season and then into the postseason, depending on how things fare, well, you know what? He's won for his last 25. Now won for his last 26. He was one for his last 25 coming into his ninth inning at bat, and obviously nothing happened there. So one for his last 26. How about that? Really amazing stuff from Giancarlo Stanton. And we discussed last night about the possible playoff lineup with Volpe at short, who didn't play the night before that. His first night off since March, really. And then we talked about Stanton getting a night off, and those regulars were back in. Now, we'll talk about Alex Verdugo. We'll talk about Jason Dominguez. Dominguez did not play tonight, and obviously he's not going to play every single day. However, he's up here to play. He's a switch hitter. No reason for him not to start tonight. Alex Verdugo got the start. And we'll talk about the Boo Birds coming up, as I mentioned. All right, Juan Solo finally breaks out with that 2-run shot in the sixth inning, gives the Yanks a 2-1 lead. As we said, that came after fouling the ball off his right foot, the top of his foot. What's interesting is he wears a shin guard. The ball somehow missed the shin guard, got nothing but bone. You could even hear Michael Kay and Paul O'Neill on the broadcast suggest that this is not good. It took him a good 3 or 4 minutes to stand up. Really brutal. I'm sure that there is a heck of a welt on his foot. Despite all that, the smiles rain down because later in that at bat, he hits the home run. He also gave him 100 RBIs on the season. By the way, worthy of note, I saw this note and I had to mark it down. I had to tell y'all. It was the 544th curveball that Cole Reagans has fired in his major league career. Guess how many home runs he's now given up on that famous curveball? 1. That was the first home run he's ever allowed on a curveball in his major league career. Cole Reagans has been great this season, as has Seth Lugo. Quite a rotation, quite a 1-2 punch at the top for the Royals. A team to be reckoned with in the postseason. All right, the play of the night came in the 7th inning. Jose Trevino came to the dish with runners on first and second. It was the first, believe it or not, listen to this. It was the first time since the 8th inning on Monday that any Yankee came to the plate with a runner in scoring position, and then the play of the game ensues. If you missed it, we'll try and get through it. It's a little wordy, but we'll try and get through it. Anthony Volpe's on second base trying to steal third. At the dish is Trevino, chops one to first base. Salvador Perez playing first base, tries to tag Trevino, who gets out of the way. At first, you might think he's out of the baseline. He's not. He's not called out of the baseline. Volpe gets to third after what appears to be a stolen base, rounds third, sees Perez try to tag Trevino, so then he comes home and he's out at the plate after a throw from Perez to the catcher to get Volpe at home. Really was a wild play. So that's one out on the play. It turns out that Perez actually tagged Trevino at first base. They reviewed it. The Royals challenged the play. Turned out to be an inning-ending double play. Really some killer stuff there. Despite that, and despite the boos, because we'll get to that as well, it was really the play of the game, and very interesting stuff. So we will continue there. We do have to discuss the Aaron Judge drought. We'll get to that because it's becoming historic, and obviously we have teased the Boo Birds several times, and we'll get to that as well. All right, first, let's do this. All right, let's talk game time for a moment. One of my favorite things to do, go see live events, concerts, games, you name it. One of my most favorite things to do, again, live events. Game Time is a new feature called Game Time Picks That makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONMLB. That's LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It is game time. All right. Thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. For your second listen, enjoy the Locked On MLB podcast. Host Paul Sullivan, a.k.a. Sully, is here daily to provide national expertise with his trademark humor. Helps you get ready for the MLB playoffs here in the dog days of summer. Prepare for the Fall Classic with Sully. He's got it all. He covers it all every single day on Locked On MLB, available on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. All right, back to the action we go. We talked about Aaron Judge, now 14 games without a home run. We told you last night the career high for him is 15 consecutive games without a home run. And at some point, you got to figure it's messing with his head. Not because of the 2 weeks he's gone without a home run, but probably because we're getting to a historic number in that it's his career high 15th consecutive game without a home run. He's got one more to go to get there. Again, Aaron Judge, as of a couple of days ago, was on pace to hit 62. We told you this last night. Then 61, then 60, 59, 58, and down we go. Now on pace for just over 56 home runs, right near 57, which obviously still is an amazing season. He's going to win the AL MVP. But again, there's been a homerless drought. And you know what? It's getting up to scary times, I guess, because if nobody's behind him, with the exception of Austin Wells, and he's not hitting, then you don't have to pitch to him. So we'll have to wait and see exactly what goes down with Judge moving forward. All right, we told you about the Boo Birds, and yes, it was a roller coaster evening in the Bronx, but I took a couple of notes in regards to the Boos. All right, and you know what? There were plenty of them. Let's run through them. I took them in chronological order. First, Tommy Pham guns down Alex Verdugo, trying to stretch a single into a double in the fifth inning. Boos come down. Short leash for Verdugo. We told you about that the other night when Dominguez got the call. There was going to be a short leash for Verdugo. Now, that first night, he did play with Dominguez in the lineup, and he hit a home run. Didn't play last night. Dominguez struggled, but tonight, Verdugo back into the lineup, tries to hustle, gunned down at second base, trying to turn a single into a double. The Boos came down, and we were off and running. Boos sesh number one. Clay Holmes then enters in the seventh inning, fresh off his demotion. Salvador Perez, sac fly, drives in a run, ties the game at 2. That's an earned run against Clay Holmes, his 12th blown save of the season. That is the most in the big leagues, and he didn't even blow it in the ninth inning. Guess what? Down come the Boos from the Yankee Stadium faithful. So that's Boos sesh number 2. We told you about the wild play in the seventh inning featuring Trevino and then Anthony Volpe getting tossed out at first base. After all that, after the challenge and then the replay review and then the flip, Boos coming down. But wait, there's more. That was Boos sesh number 3. Boos sesh number 4. Wild pitch in the top of the 10th inning from Jake Cousins. Allows the go-ahead run to score. 3-2 Royals at that point. Yanks staring at a fresh deficit. Boos coming down. And then you know what? They booed the Royals for walking Aaron Judge with first base open to start the bottom of the 11th inning. Understandable. The Boos came down. but you can't blame the Royals for that one. So again, the ire of the Yankee fan is currently being directed at Alex Verdugo, rightfully so. Clay Holmes, rightfully so. The umpires, rightfully so. And perhaps Jake Cousins, but that's for tonight. Just Jake Cousins. So again, the Boo Bird's coming down. We hope we chronicled those sessions strongly for you because it really was an interesting night. The Yanks bats, not great. They have not been great for a while, with the exception of that 10-4 come from behind blowout, if you will, the other night against Kansas City in the first game of the series. But again, the Yankees do take 2 of 3 from the Royals, which sets up a pretty significant series with the Red Sox, who we told you earlier tonight got a 3-run blast in extra innings from Tyler O'Neill to beat the Orioles at Fenway. The Red Sox are suddenly hot. They've won 4 of 6, and they come into the Bronx starting tomorrow night. And we do have some interesting pitching matchups. Criswell and Cortez in the opener. That's Thursday night. Friday night, Houck and Schmidt in a doozy. That, as we said, is Friday night. Saturday afternoon, Bayo and Cole. Gary Cole returns to the mound. And then on Sunday afternoon, with all the football, Crawford and Rodon will go. Again, a 4-game set, 2 night games, Thursday and Friday, and then 2 afternoon games in the Bronx on Saturday and Sunday, respectively. Should really be fun. As we said, the Yanks entered tonight a half game up on the Orioles in the division. Now make that a smooth game and a half. 2 in the loss column. That after the Yankees win, and that after the Red Sox win. Luis Gil had a so-so night. 5 innings, 1 earned, 2 walks, 5 Ks. Numbers seem okay. But again, he gave up the home run to Mike Massey. It was a pretty long home run, if you will. All right, rest of the bullpen tonight. Hill, Holmes, Canely, Cousins, and Weaver. If we combine them, we'll take out Holmes, and we don't have an earned run there for the bullpen. That's right. Clay Holmes with the only earned run. He blows the save, his 12th. By the way, what's interesting about this tonight is despite the struggles for Clay Holmes, do you know what his season ERA is? I'll give you 2 seconds to think about it. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Clay Holmes' season ERA is 3.32. Now, if I told you before tonight that he finished tonight with an ERA of short of 3.5, you probably wouldn't have believed me. But again, the boos rain down for him. At some point, you feel bad for a guy. You really do. Now, he struggled and he deserves the boos, but I felt bad for him tonight. It's one of those weird stat modifications, if you will, that they've made to the game, in that if 7th inning or later, if you cough up the lead, it's a blown save. They tried to put Clay Holmes in a situation where he couldn't blow a save. And what did Clay Holmes do? Blew the save. 12 of them now. 12 big ones. How about that? 12 blown saves, of course. That leads baseball. All right, Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. How about this? 1 Caleb Williams passing yard gets you 1 win on Prize Picks every week in September. That's right. Only 1 yard gets you an automatic win every football weekend in September. 4 weeks of free W's. Don't miss the deal on Prize Picks, because it's gone when September ends. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Prize Picks is the best way to get action on sports in most states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB. Get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code LOCKEDONMLB on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. All right, Yanks win tonight. They take 2 of 3 from the Royals. My name is Jay Berman. You can follow me on X at Jay Berman, JayBerman. We'll take your chat questions as well. All right, as we discussed at the top, with the exception of Juan Soto, the Yanks bats have been relatively quiet of late. And at some point, they got to get going. I would expect that to happen, but at some point, they really got to get going. They did not have a hit with runners in scoring position tonight, and for that matter, either did the Royals. That doesn't happen very often, where both teams combined go over with runners in scoring position. Royals left a ton of guys on base. Yankees did not, because they didn't come up with anybody on base. Really was a feeble night for the Yankees bats. We told you about that Jose Trevino stat. I'm going to grab that one more time. When he came up in the 7th inning, he came to the dish with runners on first and second. It was the first time since the 8th inning on Monday that any Yankee came to the plate with a runner in scoring position. And then, of course, the play of the game ensues. But really remarkable stuff, considering the Yankees basically went 48 hours, 2 full days, 2 full games without a runner in scoring position. Now, obviously, a home run takes care of that, and Juan Soto did exactly that. He's not getting booed anytime soon. Either is Aaron Judge, despite the fact that it's been 2 weeks since he hit a home run. As we said, he was on pace for well over 60. Not anymore. On pace for right around 57 for the rest of the season. As we said, the Boo Birds came and they went. Alex Verdugo was the subject of the boos, as was Clay Holmes, as were the umps, as was Jake Cousins, as were the Royals for walking Judge with a base open in the 11th. Oh, so much went down. All right, as we said, the Yankees now face the Red Sox, first of 4 beginning Thursday night. And we saw really what could be a possible playoff preview. I think it's a real interesting series. Of course, Yankee fans, we all want to see the Twins in the postseason. I think a team we don't want to see is the Kansas City Royals, despite the fact that the Yankees took 2 of 3 from Kansas City. That actually scares me, that team. And that's with Vinny Pasquantino out. He will not play the rest of the regular season and likely out of the postseason as well with that fractured wrist. That's a huge blow to that Royals lineup. Tommy Pham had 3 hits tonight. He did get picked off first base, which was less than a dazzling play. Besides that, no Royal had more than 1 hit. So the Yankees pitchers were pretty good, obviously with the exception of Clay Holmes, who allowed 2 hits and that run to score. All right, Red Sox coming in fresh off their win over the Orioles at Fenway tonight. Should be a really fun series, 4-game series. No rest for the weary. Boston comes down from Fenway to travel to the Bronx. Yanks, as we said, no rest for the weary. Right back at it tomorrow for 4 games against the Red Sox, which should be really a tremendous, tremendous series, with the Yanks now 2 up in the loss column on the Orioles in the division, 1.5 overall. All right, thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. Now go check out the Locked On MLB podcast. Prepare for the Fall Classic with Sully, who has it all covered every single day. You can find the link to Locked On MLB in the description, so you don't need to search. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team, every single day. All right, let me tell you one more thing. Also want to mention our partners in crime over at Locked On Yankees. Stacy Gotsulias and Brian McKeon. They handle all the stuff at Locked On Yankees. They're great, the best. So follow, subscribe, and enjoy. All right, it's going to wrap it up. My name is Jay Berman. Once again, follow me on Twitter or X at Jay Berman, Jayberman. Yanks and Red Sox tomorrow night in the Bronx. We'll see you then. Until then, we are out.